All right, good cold Sunday morning. Starting the process of closing the curtains so we can get the heat turned on. Big Bird is washed and put away, and got all sorts of things all over it and around it to try and keep the rodents away, hopefully. The cart's in here, the big tractor. Obviously, you've seen everything else that's back there, the 8235 and everything else, yeah. They're talking some snow tomorrow and Tuesday. Yay. But it won't last. But so yeah, I don't know if you can tell my left eye. Boy, blowing Big Bird off. I got some shit in my eye. Took about 3 days of a lot of Visine and whatnot, and I finally got it to clear up. But if it didn't clear up on the third day, I was gonna have Barb take me to the urgent care or something. It was horrible. Just the dust that got in there and I couldn't get it out. Oh my God. Scratchy feeling and just felt like you were crying all the time, rubbing your eyes. It was horrible. Still hurts a little, but I can tell the crap is out of it at least. So yeah, I got to get this closed up, get Barb over here so that I can lift her up in the bucket so we can tie it, to keep it tight and whatnot. Take my garbage pails over and empty those. Take my chair up to my one hunting blind. Oh, what else do I gotta do? I gotta turn the water off in the barn. Oh, there's still things to do. All right. The heater is on. It's gonna take a bit because it was 41 in here. It's up to 45. Yeah, it was chilly. Barb come out, lifted her up, tied the two sides of the curtains together good. And yes, for any newbies, this isn't the, prime way to heat this front part of the shop. I mean, this is all insulated. There's blown-in insulation in the ceiling. There's insulation in the walls. You can see here in the doors, there's insulation in the doors. I put some boards along the bottom just to keep the wind and snow from blowing in, because unfortunately that's north and that's usually where it comes from. But it's not bad. The curtains they're a fairly thick curtain. I mean, yes, I lose a little heat along the top. I should probably get some sort of rubber flapping and do something up there that would hang down a little to cover that little bit, but it ain't bad. It heats pretty decent in here. Up to 46. Well, it's a poor man's heated shop because this is all that we heat, and the rest in the back is all cold storage, which I just showed you earlier. So I took one of my chairs up to my hunting blind because our rifle season opens next weekend. Right now, crossbow and bow is open. Maybe I'll get out this week. Fell through the second step getting up to it because it's rotted. Just my phone just dinged. It's probably my buddy that I texted saying, hey, we need to put a new blind up there before next year. It's getting a little ratty, but the one him and I, well, pretty much him, built, because he's a carpenter, was many years ago. So we need to do something. He's talking about getting stuff, and we'll do it this winter while it's in here. That way that next spring we can just put it up. I gotta get my heaters down, make sure they all work for hunting season. Yes, whether you like it or not. What was it? Last year I had somebody that was bitching when we were sitting in our huts that we make. That's sniping, that's not hunting. You need to go out and track the deer and all that. Whatever. You do you, okay? Right there. You be you and I'll be me. You go be Daniel Boone and sniff the shit and look at the tracks and go track it and whatnot. I'm gonna sit in a blind like 90% of hunters do, sitting in tree stands or ground blinds or elevated blinds or whatever. So you be you, Daniel Boone. I'm getting too old for that shit. We do enough walking during muzzleloader season when we do some deer drives. But I gotta go over to the barn, turn the water off. My cousin David brought me I can't remember what he said it was, 6 or 8 foot piece of insulation to shove down in the hole where the water comes into the barn, because the stuff I had in there has gotten pretty chewed up and rotten. So, and oh, obviously you saw the snowplow is on. Not that I'm worried that Monday and Tuesday's snow is, I gotta grease this still, is plowable snow, but it's that time of year, so I put it on because it's gonna need to stay on. So yeah, so then we'll see what we get tomorrow and Tuesday for snow. All right, that's at 59 according to the thing over there. I just went over and I got my water turned off, the insulation put in. You can't really go by that because that says it's almost 60 in here, or 70 I mean. But that's because this is a really nice place to stand because the heat kind of blows straight across this way. But that should be shutting off shortly. So it actually didn't take, I don't know what it took, 20 minutes, 25 minutes to heat up. The biggest thing is getting the concrete. You know, once the floor gets warm, that doesn't kick on as often. Once it gets warm in here and stays somewhat warm, which again, another reason why I put all the boards down along the bottom of the door, just because the bottom of the door is never sealed perfect. But it doesn't help going in and out because it's like 40 something outside. But I just figured, seeing as I'm showing you everything, we got the dryer done yesterday too, right about dark. I mean, does it still look a little dirty here and there? Yeah, but all the screens are clean. You can see through them. Got the cement underneath all swept up. It's clean, okay? I don't pressure wash my dryer because I don't like the idea of putting water down inside the dryer. But I got the computer taken out of the computer room, put away in here on the shelf where it goes. Oh, that's the one, that's right. I wanted to check hunting heaters. Well, it's almost lunchtime. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. It's like the rifles in this week too. But yeah, so everything is kind of ready for winter. Oh, now I can actually do some hunting. Come on, baby. Oh, of course, now it's dropped to 58. It was 59. Stop opening the door. It'll get there. But, all right. I'm just going to leave this video for now to see what the next 2 days bring, if we get some of that wonderful white stuff. Well, good Monday morning. Yeah. Between now and tomorrow night, Tuesday evening, like 7, we are in the 4 to 8 inch range. Yeah. Welcome to winter, I guess. So it's nice in here. I got it set at 60. So that just kicked on. It's getting ready to kick off. But so I'll probably hold this video till tomorrow just to see what we've got out there. But I wasted my time last night watching 60 Minutes there on CBS, you know, one of the main 4 lamestream media. CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, because 60 Minutes had a thing about, they were interviewing some farmers about the tariffs, you know, about horrible Donald Trump. I'm so fucking tired of the bullshit. I guess I didn't realize there was so many liberal farmers out there. Now, I don't know where these guys were from. I didn't catch that. I missed the first minute or so. Missouri, Arkansas, something like that. They were soybean, cotton farmers, corn, all that. But talking about how, and Missouri sticks in my mind because during the show, or during that segment of 60 Minutes, there goes Jimmy, I can tell his horn now, they were talking about how they were interviewing some woman who had a, I don't know what you want to call it, suicide prevention center or something, about how farming is the highest suicide level of any profession. Now somebody's pulling in. Yeah, it has been for decades. Go look it up. Go look up the last 5 decades. We'll continue this after I figure out who this is. All right, we're back. That was Garrett. He was out back hunting this morning. still bow and crossbow until this next coming weekend, or this coming weekend. But anyways, they were talking about, you know, how high the suicide rate is in farming. And like I said before he showed up, no shit, it's been that way for 5-6 decades. Let's see, as I've stated on this channel, we deal with Mother Nature. We can't control that. We deal with, you know, somebody telling us what we're going to get paid for what we produce and telling us what we're going to pay for the things we need to produce that, like no other industry does. Yeah, I wonder why the suicide rate in agriculture is high. But I guess I didn't realize how many liberal farmers there are out there. Because if you're blaming all of your problems on Trump's first 9 or 10 months in office, you're full of shit, in plain English. Because right now, today, beans are about $1 more than what they were a month ago when I sold beans. And that was 33 cents higher than what I sold beans for in 2024. Corn is higher. I was watching a YouTube video, some farmer from down south, I think he was in Arkansas or something, had a hell of a southern draw to him. And he basically said the same thing that I've said in previous videos about how prices have been higher, even though, you know, the horrible orange man's tariffs. I don't get it. The lamestream media doesn't want to talk about that. They just want to go out and cherry pick the liberal farmer, apparently, who wants to complain about Trump and complain about all their woes it's Trump's fault. Bullshit. I call fucking bullshit on that. If I piss off my fellow farmers that come in here and watch this because you agree with the liberal farmers, then leave. I don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't. I'm so tired of the bullshit. Because the non-farmers out there who watch things like 60 Minutes last night are thinking, oh my God, President Trump is killing the farmers and all this. Yeah, but he's more than willing to, you know, dole out the bailout payments and whatnot, which I'm sure those liberal farmers will take. And I'm gonna too, so bring it on, haters. And then you'll start with your socialism bullshit. But as I've stated before, you're all for, you know, that $15,000 credit to buy your electric vehicle. If that electric vehicle was so great, shouldn't it sell itself? Isn't that socialism? How about the fact that, does anybody realize we spend about $9 billion a month on food stamps? Call it whatever you want. SNAP, EBT, all that shit. Food stamps is what it's called. Of course, they did away with that because that was just a horrible saying, food stamps. $9 billion a month for, I read it was like somewhere between 40 and 45 million people in this country. Now, there are people in this country who need a helping hand up, without a doubt. But anybody who's on social media, and the only one I'm on other than YouTube is Instagram, have seen all the videos of the people bitching about how the taxpayers need to feed their children. They shouldn't have to work. I've got 4 or 5 kids and, you know, I need to stay home with them and blah, blah, blah. You know, able-bodied human beings that could work like normal people who got 4 or 5 kids and either one or both parents are working. But that socialism is okay with you guys, right? Yeah. It's always the liberal form of socialism that's okay. But if a farmer gets some sort of subsidy, oh, that's socialism, so you're not going to take it, right? You're against socialism. But stop and think about $9 billion a month. And you got these people coming on going, Trump took away my $4,000 a month that I was getting for food stamps, and now I'm only getting $800. $4,000 a fucking month? Almost 50 grand a year? Holy shit, what are you eating? Filet mignon and lobster every day? Oh, I don't get it. But then I listen to these farmers that, you cannot deny that the prices right now are higher than what they were in 2024. Any one of you can look that up. Are they high enough to where our input costs are? No. It's like that YouTube video of that farmer down south I was watching. He said the same thing I did. If corn or beans goes up $2 a bushel, we don't see it. We might see a little bit of it, but the seed companies, the fertilizer companies, the chemical companies, all of them raise their prices. And then they say, oh, it's due to some bullshit in Russia. That's why fertilizer went up. Oh, a hurricane hit Texas and there's a fertilizer plant in Texas. That's why it went up. There's always an excuse. When the reality is, the excuse is they just want to take that little bit extra that we're going to make. So, and then they lobby government, the big corporations, to give us our farm bailouts, our socialism payments that some of you retards talk about. I'm just so fucking done with it. I'm done with it. I didn't realize there was so many liberal farmers out there. Here's your one more thing. I'm to the point now that I'm preparing myself that the 2026 midterms are going to go to the Democrats, and probably even preparing myself that the 2028 presidential election will go to the Democrats, because the media is going to do everything they can to, oh, the horrible Republicans, the horrible Donald Trump, which, as I've said on this channel before, 90% of the Republicans suck. The only problem is 100% of the Democrats do. Look at all the videos out there of them talking about this was the only time they had their leverage is during this shutdown. Well, luckily, John Fetterman and a few others, isn't he turned out to be kind of amazing? Realized that, you know what? They were screwing the American people keeping the government shut down, because supposedly they've come to an agreement. We'll see. But I don't know. Apparently everyone wants to go back to 12 out of the last 16 years of Obama and Biden, because boy, the last 4 years were great. And then they start talking about, it's all about the healthcare, all about those healthcare subsidies. Are any of you smart enough to realize that, well, I know some of you are, but I know some of you aren't neither. Those healthcare subsidies, they don't go to us, the people buying healthcare, the self-employed people who have to buy their own healthcare, the businesses who are buying the health insurance for their employees. Those subsidies, since wonderful Obamacare, you know, the thing where if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Yeah, how'd that work out? The average family will save $2,500 a year. Yeah, how'd that work out? Yeah, those subsidies are going to the big insurance companies, the big corporations. And the reason why those subsidies went to them was so that they could lower the cost of health insurance to us peasants. Yeah, how'd that work out? Because it hasn't happened. So now the scare tactics are, oh, in 26, healthcare premiums are going to skyrocket. But yet some of you libtards celebrated when that, what the hell was his name? Mangione or whatever, the dude that literally assassinated that healthcare CEO on the subway or train platform, whatever it was. Some of you celebrated that because, oh, that horrible CEO, well, in a sense, yes, those companies were taking those subsidies that the Democrats gave them. God forbid Trump tries to change things. Trump tries to get rid of all the fraud and waste. But we live in such a, we have to have it now society, self-gratification right now that, I don't know. I'm done. I'm just fucking done with it, because look at where the economy was in 2019. Inflation was like 1.3, 1.4%. And then all of a sudden, they threw a pandemic out there that Dr. Fucky predicted in 2017, Trump's first year. I wonder why, because they knew Trump would actually possibly accomplish what he was trying to accomplish? And he was. And he got a deal with China and whatnot. And prices started going up. But then Biden won the election. Biden never held China's feet to the fire. What did inflation do under Biden? Don't get me started on all the fucking COVID money that was just thrown all around the country. You know? Did Trump force anybody to get the... No? Did Trump not tell the libtard Democrat states, don't close your schools, don't close your businesses? Yeah, but what happened? How did education work for a couple of years? But now that he's back in, because, I don't know, apparently 77 million people were tired of the bullshit from the last 4 years and 12 out of the last 16. But he hasn't fixed everything in 10 months. Oh my God. Let's go back to the bullshit again, apparently. Mind-numbing. Absolutely mind-numbing. And whatever this is, third more thing, I lost track. The weatherman wasn't wrong for once. Yeah, there's a good 8 inches or more on the top of that truck that I cleaned off this morning before I came over to the shop. Hello, winter.